What's going on? Welcome into TFEs alongside my husband, Dalen Cuff. I'm Kelsey Riggs Cuff. And last week, it was you that needed the TFEs. This week, it's me.
It seems that way.
I think I'm really in need of a little therapy session, thoughts, feelings, emotions, work it out, talk it out, and hopefully figure it out right now.
Do you want me to just say, go ahead? Do you want the floor to be open? Can I comment on your slippers real quick? What would you like to do?
I would love for you to
Are
comment
these
on my
new?
slippers.
What's going on here?
No, these are like so old I should probably throw them away.
Well, that's honestly what was in my head. And why do we have them? And B, we're rocking them right now. Interesting choice.
We're rocking them right now. We're rocking the sweats. I have a little bit of makeup on and a messy hair. And like, this is how I feel. Like the day started off really good and we were on a high and like, was going to get stuff done today. And Dace is at Miss Denise's and we had a plan and we got to work out. We were just riding high. And so that's like okay, I'm a little bit of makeup on. I'm a little bit put together. And then it's just derailed. Like, what happened in the last hour? You're like, go ahead. The
floor is yours. And I wasn't leading us down this path so negatively with your slippers. But here we go.
You were.
I was just trying to understand.
Because I didn't feel like putting on shoes.
No, I messed up your metaphor. Great metaphor. It's really been the last 2 hours I feel like have pulled you down. So let's go.
I have a lot of thoughts about and feelings and emotions. So my thoughts are, I'm frustrated because, and that's a feeling and an emotion, but whatever. My thoughts are like, I'm just frustrated because I feel like when you have a vision for like how the day is going to go, you know that it can change, but it's frustrating when it like can flip so quickly. Mm-hmm. Like we've talked about it before, you're always one moment away from whatever the next moment is. Good, bad, and different. Things can get better, they can get worse. But I don't know. So we, have a gym that we've been going to now, which has been, I think, really nice and something that I especially need. You're better at. We have the Peloton over here in the corner. It's a completely different room behind the scenes than what you see right here.
Looks great behind that camera.
You're better at, I'm going to go do a Peloton workout, or I'm going to do something at home, or I'm going to figure it out. I like more of the like structure or the planning, or to go out and take a run, and you can't do that. I see 14 feet of snow outside right now. So that's been good, just mentally and physically. And so we're coming off the high, and then I'm just like, I get a couple of different like frustrating phone calls, and there's stuff that you and I are trying to figure out, and I think I'm just frustrated because it feels like, okay, we're like on this path and we're trying, and then it's so easy for it to get derailed. And then it was not just one phone call, it was the next one. And once I got the first one, I saw the number pop up for the second one, I was like, well, this is going to be bad news too, because it just feels like when it rains, it pours over the last couple years. Now, I will say we're almost in February as I transition a little bit into like feelings and emotions probably. Last January started super optimistic, and then it got really hard really fast. And I know I shouldn't compare it, but I have been like, I'm really grateful that like above all, this has been a good month. Mm-hmm. And it's like trying to like reframe my mindset and be open to whatever the year brings and know that it won't all be good. But have been trying to be open-minded and optimistic about that. So I am grateful for that. But what the hell? How can things just get derailed so easily? And like, how do we handle that better? And by we, I mean I, or maybe the human race. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
No, it's everybody. It's definitely me. You know that. So that's not really
help.
Okay. Let's like you did last time for me. Did you hit record on that? Yes, you did. Okay. Edit it out. 3 minutes in, Frank. Let's try to parse through it. Do you think there is it, we know those things we can't control are going to come up. Like these things, like, again, like you said, we're one step away from the good or the bad. And a couple weeks ago, you went into that kind of in depth. And I do think it's interesting in this pod or in life, you can always have different perspectives at different times. Sometimes you're in a more mode that you can handle it or you can talk through it. Sometimes you're just like, what the hell? Like, what are we dealing with? So is it a little bit of a lack of control? Because one issue is about like our car. The other thing, some stuff work stuff, some stuff's personal. Like, is it a control thing? Like, where do you think that really gets where you're at now, or a lack of control, contribute to some of this at all?
For sure. you know, as much as I like, you know, your ability to plan dinner or the way you handle if we go on a vacation, like your planning, as much as I love that, I do like to have control. And we've talked about it, I think probably on the pod too. There are a lot of areas in life where I feel like I don't have control right now where normally I would. So there's always some aspects of life, work, relationships where you don't have control. But I feel like there are more that I had control over in the past than I do right now. And I think that's hard. Um,
Can I interject there?
yeah.
Can I play back what my therapist says to me all the time?
That control is just a figment of your imagination.
Kind of an illusion. What you can control is how you respond to different situations, but you can't control the situation at times. You can't control these outside impacts. You can't control how somebody responds to you, or a challenge is presented to you, or something happens at work. We can control how we respond to that, which doesn't give us any more technical control of our lives, but allows you to control your response to those things, which is all sometimes we can do, because the outside world is going to continue to move and things are going to happen, good and bad, that we literally can't control. But what we can is just ourselves.
If you guys aren't watching, you can't see me cutting my eyes at him and just glaring as he provides all this wisdom and depth.
That's not the, well, I guess the glare, I felt the glare and I'm like, this is not going over well, but I'm going to keep
It
on
is
talking.
going over well. I mean, this is my response, that I'm sitting here talking about it and working through it. And, yeah, I think right now I'm just more frustrated that it was like I had such a like optimistic mindset for the day and was like excited for us to get a few things done, and then just to be annoyed. I'm excited. I mean, I'm annoyed that I'm annoyed. Which
is fair too, because that does suck. And then it's also, you're like, you're going to go to work later. I mean, I do think some of these things that you're running into, though, to not speak out of both sides of my mouth, I feel like you may have control. It's weird. It gets more frustrating or more annoying when I think you've done your part. You're like, I'm trying to handle these things the way that I can, whether it's professionally or personally, in a positive and a optimistic viewpoint, without being sucked too back negatively. But as things keep hitting you, it's hard to maintain that, that stance if things keep coming at you that you can't control.
Well, when there's something wrong with your car and there's nothing that you guys did for there to be something wrong with the car, and the dealership says that they're not going to help, then I'm mad because like you could do it. So yes, I don't know. I mean, I know control is, I do. I think it's a little bit of a figment of your imagination. Like we think that we control things, but you don't really. And when that is revealed in big ways, like I feel like we had the last year, or smaller ways, that can be hard. But I don't know, Dal. I don't know like what the answer is in this moment to maybe like feel more control or find a way to like better level set the highs and the lows that come along with it. I mean, in an hour I'll feel fine. So I'm sure it's
well, don't downplay it to make it sound like just because maybe you won't, because some of these things are like,
oh, thanks.
Well, no, I think you may feel better in an hour, but some of the like everybody has challenges in work, everybody's challenges in their relationship, or most people do, where you wonder, okay, how is this going to turn? Like, what is going to be where's either the light at the end of the tunnel where the bad stuff hitting you may end, or you can see the end, or you don't know where it is, or eventually you start asking, well, why is this happening to me? And then how can I rectify it? Again, it comes back with the control, what you can control. So it's one of those things where I think, yeah, you may feel better in an hour, but some of the stuff that's a little more systemic or baseline, you have to continue to try to push whatever you can to change the outcome or change how you feel, because if you don't change that, and you're in either a system or a situation that's not beneficial to you, you're always going to come back to that negative feeling if there's not a thought of, how am I progressing? How am I moving this forward? How am I? Sometimes you can't solve it, but how can I find either a middle ground or sometimes a solution to resolve what I'm dealing with?
Well, and you just said, why is this happening to me? And that is how we all think. Like, why me? Why this? And again, I think it comes to reframing the mindset of what could be happening for me, which is hard to do in the moment. But instead of like this happening to me, what could be happening for me, or what is this making space for or room for, or what else can I create from this. And I don't have any specific examples for everything right now, but I do think it's a little bit of a learned mindset that you have to train your brain to think differently in negative situations, or when unexpected things happen, or when things don't necessarily go your way, that if you are training your brain to think about it differently and view it differently. We did a workout class today, which I want to talk about too, but where the first time that we got through the first set, the instructor said to high five two people, and then she started talking about energy, and she was like, you are taking in other people's energy. So if you're not in it today, high five somebody. It's going to make you feel better regardless. Do it. I think the transfer of energy and that is really interesting too, because you do take in what's around you. I mean, it's part of what I used to make fun of you at work about, when I say that you were a curmudgeon, and I felt like I was very different, which is why I would have never figured that we would ever be here, because we were such different people. But I felt like I exuded something different than maybe a lot of the time you exuded.
Yeah, I'll steal somebody else's line, and I don't know where he got it, but Kyle Smith, who's the basketball coach at Stanford, was the coach at Columbia 15 years ago, and I quit my job, went back into broadcasting, so I spent a couple of years covering that team, getting to know him really well. One of his lines is, everybody in this world is either a fountain or a drain.
Yeah.
And we want fountains to pour into each other, to pour into one another, to make this place, this team, this community, this family better. And there was a period of, I'd like to think of myself, whether I was a teammate or an employee or a partner, for years, I was a fountain. When you met me, I was beginning my drain era, to use one of your Taylor line there. I was all the stuff we're talking about right now, I didn't understand, nor have ability to articulate, ability to recognize, or to process and work through. It was all, a very much, why is it like this? I don't want it to be this way. I, me, a very self-centered. And then, you drain in on other people. So you come into a job where at the very beginning, I was excited to be there. We're starting the new network. But as you start to go through that, and personal stuff affects you, I knew that I would come into certain sessions and I was not a pleasant person. And I imagine the people around me that are more wired to be fountains and are wired to be optimistic felt a negative energy with me. I don't disagree with that at all. But I do think, I don't like to work in the world of binaries. I don't like it has to be black or white. The truth is a gray area. There's a nuance. But that way of looking at things, I think a lot of people fall into that bucket. And you can have moments of being either one. But by and large, what are you? What do you bring to the table most consistently? You're either one or the other.
I think that's why the last year annoyed me so much, is because I feel like, not annoyed me, that's really simplifying for a lot of things that we went through. But I feel like I've not consciously tried to be a fountain and thought about it with that mindset, but just try to be a positive person and look for ways to help others or encourage others, or to always be a good friend, or, to show up in ways, whether it's for coworkers or friends or family. And I feel like the last year I was much more of a drain than I've ever been, which was frustrating, because I wanted to pull myself out of it, not like a depression or anything like that. Just I was in more of a negative mind space, because I felt like it was, why has this happened, or why am I here, or why do I have to deal with this, or when is it going to change, or whatever it was, all of these different situations that we experienced the last year. And that is not who I have been, or who I want to be, or who I strive to be. I feel like I almost thrive and find more purpose in other people and helping other people. We were talking the other day, and I'm like, if I had my dream job, I would be working with this, not that sports isn't my dream job. Just hear me out for a second. If I could do,
you can have a really great job and still say that I'm wired to do something else, as a passion. This is what this would give me the most fulfillment.
I have always felt that I want to figure out what this platform that I have, what is it for? What can I use it for? What else? Mm-hmm. When I started in the business, I had all the different shoes, and we did Kelsey's Kicks, and I'm like, could I create this into a charity where we're giving shoes to kids in need somewhere else? Could I make this a thing? I feel like I have always tried to think of, a bigger picture way of how can I make an impact with still having a small voice, but a more magnified voice maybe than everybody has, being in this platform that we're in. Anyways, a couple of the accounts that I follow are these two guys that have turned their entire career on Instagram into going around and raising money for people that they meet on the street, people whose stories they hear about. To be able to just go out and do something deserving for somebody who deserves it and can't do it themselves, I just think it's so beautiful. I think it's so sweet. I watch the videos. I just sit around and cry, try to get you to watch them with me. You're like, yeah. These are, no, just kidding. You like them too.
About to say, I've seen, well, some of them came across my timeline on my own. I mean, you brought it to me and I'm like, no, I've seen this one or this one. And I don't think my timeline is exactly flooded as yours is with it, but I mean, I appreciate it. Obviously.
Yeah, I know. I was just kidding. But it's just a feel good. And obviously these people who are doing it are making money off of it in some way. It's their career and they're getting ads or whatever, but they have started this in a unselfish way just because they had the ability to start helping people, or they helped people and a video went viral, and and now it has turned into this. And so I think that's like my bigger dream of what's finding a greater purpose outside of, just family, outside of just career, of like, how do we use the time that we have to help others? I mean, I put on the agenda for us today to go talk to the older woman down the street and make sure that she doesn't need us to help dig out her snow. But I feel like my brain is just wired to try to, I don't know, to try to think like that, because we are so lucky. We have so many incredible things. And maybe it's just selfish a little bit, like selfishly, like that makes me feel good. So I want to help somebody else. I want to be a fountain to somebody else. Yeah. There's
a lot there. I will say just first, in terms of like last year, you felt like you were more of a drain. The difference, though, I think obviously the environment matters, and if you're going to work or you're going to be with your family, whatever, people are different in different places. Like, so as far as our house, like, you are the ultimate fountain pouring back into all of us to make our lives better, our times better, whatever. So that I want you to know and understand and know that's a fact. Secondly, as it comes to like, going through life and wanting to find your higher purpose or wanting to impact people, there is a pessimist in me, which I can't change. When I first saw that guy's video, the first video I saw that was like this, I was like, so what's his angle? Like, what's he doing here? Because I'm not wired that way. I'm not wired. Like, you enjoy and get like a high off of helping complete strangers. And now there sometimes, of course, I'll help people out. But I've never just thought of that. And you can call me a more selfish person, but whether it was doing like Big Brothers Big Sisters was like a thought of like, I want to do this and I want to build a relationship with this young man and I want to pour back into him. But what I did learn through that is I learned just as much from him, if not more, than he learned from me. So I think any good deed you're going to do, if it's giving to charity, if it's going to a soup kitchen, I don't think there's anything wrong with walking away feeling good about what you have done. Mm-hmm. And if it can impact like the broader thing, like say, well, I want to make an impact. I think that's the greatest like gift any person can give, is impacting somebody's life. And not just in a monetary way and not just in a short term, but in a long term. That's why whether it's teachers or coaches, pastors, people that operate in a world where they're constantly, mentoring, helping, giving to others, aren't rewarded for that monetarily primarily, which is a flaw in our society. And they're also not glorified a lot just in terms of how people think. But you can think of teachers or pastors or coaches that seriously impacted your life. And so can I. And like and I know some of them, that's why they did it, because they want to have that impact. So I think if you have having any selfish motive to do good is okay. And ultimately is a good thing, because that would drive you to do more good and to impact more people in a positive way, which is, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I don't think so either. So I think that's well said. I have a side story, as you were saying, that and talking about helping people and finding ways and you not being wired that way. I think I've told you this story before. I was working in Charlotte, North Carolina, and had covered the Panthers. I believe it was a game day that day. And so I had been at the stadium for a while. My boyfriend at the time lived out of town, but was in town for that weekend. And I remember where I lived, Bank of America Stadium, right, on the outskirts of uptown Charlotte. I lived walking distance from there. So we were walking home. And it, at that point, was probably, I don't know, almost midnight, because I had done an 11 o'clock show. And we were walking home from the game, And there I see a man with like a bag, like a suitcase bag, laying on the ground and like in trouble, like something's wrong. And that area was so close to the stadium that I was like, oh my gosh, is this a media person like pulling their camera gear or whatever? So I think, were we walking? Maybe we weren't walking. I think we were driving. That's what it was. We were driving because I was like, why would we walk home that late? We were driving. I'm like, turn the car around. We have to see if this guy's okay. So we pull the car over. We get out and we walk up to this man and I'm like, are you okay? Are you okay? And he's just laying there. He's making noise. I can see that he's peed himself. And I think, oh my God, this guy has like had a seizure and he's laying here by himself. He needs 911. And so I'm panicking and I tell my boyfriend to call 911. I'm sitting there with the guy. I'm holding his hand. I'm like, my name's Kelsey. Like, are you okay? Like, what hurts? Are you in pain? And he's not really able to say that much. He's just kind of like making noises at me. And I'm like, it's okay. We called 911. They're going to be here. Does anything hurt? Like, is it your heart? Is it like, do you know what happened? And he's not telling me. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to stay here and hold your hand. I'm like, do you want me to say a prayer for you? I'll say a prayer for you. And so I'm praying for the guy. I'm like, help him, heal. And we're going to be with him and let the, emergency personnel get here. And my boyfriend's just kind of standing there waiting for them to get there. And I'm like rubbing the guy's head and telling him he's going to be okay and holding his hand. And then the emergency personnel, the fire truck pulls up and they walk over and they take one look and they're like, Eric, man, what are you doing? Eric, you told us you were going to stay clean. What are you doing, man? Come on. And my boyfriend's just sitting there like smiling and nodding. And I was just like, wait, what's happening? And so it was this man who evidently was homeless and spent a lot of time going in and out of being taken to the hospital for different things with drug and alcohol. But that story is so like funny when I think back. It literally did not even cross my mind. I was like, I'm going to sit here and hold this guy's hand and rub his head and just like let him know that whatever is about to happen, he is not alone. I'm not a medical personnel. I cannot help him. But I was like, I can be here. Now, should you probably go up to the stranger on the street that's laying there and, just be there with him? No. And if my boyfriend wasn't, I wouldn't have done it by myself as a single.
But yes and no, because here's the difference. I think what you're saying there is like, and this is part of a challenge within society right now, is, looking at other humans with humanity, whether they are unhoused or drug addicts or whatever ever's been happened to them or they've been cast aside in society, still a human being. Like and you treating that person with humanity that honestly, most people probably wouldn't turn the car around. So that does speak to how you, like the empathetic, like sympathetic person that you are, that not everybody's wired like that. And honestly, it's a good thing. And it's not, we could probably use more of that in society. I could probably use more of that of my own. Like those things, again, not everybody does that. And I do think when you live in certain places and see certain things, you become anesthetized to it as well. Like living in New York for so long, when you see people, whether it's homeless or what's going on, like you become anesthetized and you don't think about what happened to that person, what's that person's story, if you could maybe help them, unless you build a relationship. There was a guy that used to hang out like in our area, Columbia. He would always joke around if he walked by, like, do you want to donate to the United Negro Pizza Fund? Was his line. And it was always fun. It got us the first time with him, I think as a freshman. By junior year, he's hanging out in the stoop with us, once a month. Like he'd pop up, we're sitting on the stoop, we're talking, we're rapping, maybe give him a couple bucks, a slice, whatever. But now that he's a dude with a story, and he's like, but you can become anesthetized to that in our society, I think, especially as we become more and more separated in digital spaces. Like, that connection, that guy may not remember it, but you remember that story. I'm sure your boyfriend does. The personnel probably do not, because they've seen him before. I don't know if they've seen anybody treating him like you were. That I think would be different.
Maybe. And I'm not telling that in like a self-serving way. I'm telling it, I guess it seems self-serving because I'm like, oh, look at this nice thing that I did. But it is, I just had.
Well, no, you were telling it more like it was a joke. I'm this crazy that I do this stuff. But I'm like, that's a good thing.
It never crossed my mind. Like what if he's a homeless man, or what is his like, it just didn't matter.
But it doesn't
was
matter.
who
What
was-
if he dies? Like, it
that's
doesn't
my
make it. He's a
point.
person.
Like, it was just somebody who was in need that I thought like had a seizure or heart attack or something, and like needed somebody to be there with them at that time. Now it is funny when they walk up and they're like, Eric, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, oh, this is the best night he's had. He just sat there and got his head rubbed, and you held his hand for a little while and prayed for him, and we'll take him in and get him a warm meal and then see what he's able to do. But yeah, I think the fact that everybody has a story is something that is often lost on so many of us, that we maybe say that we think about or that we prioritize. But whether it is the person next to you that is flying through traffic and driving crazy and you're cussing them out because why are they driving like that? Well, maybe they're on the way to the hospital because they just got a terrible phone call, or, you know, the person that doesn't look like you. Or I just think that there's so much that a little more empathy in each of us would probably go a really long way.
Yeah, I don't think probably. I think definitely. And I mean, you know, we don't get political on the podcast, but I do think there is profit to be made from either side of the aisle, and creating division and creating animosity and creating an otherness or whatever it may be that's not healthy. And I think that's more prevalent in our society now than it has been probably in the last 50 years. It's become, we went through a period in history where obviously there was literal divides between race and socioeconomics that was built into our systems. You go for years of trying to fight a war 250 years ago to try to break that down. 100 years after that, you have the civil rights movement. You try to break that down. And since then, to basically the last like 10 or 15 years, there's been a progress or a belief that like, let's all come together. And then this desire to fracture, and the benefit from both sides of the political aisle, if you remain fractured, benefits a small few, but not the mass populace. So if you can, yes, more empathy, more love, more caring in our society is necessary. But unfortunately, that doesn't profit. So that doesn't seem to get as much conversation.
I think it's hard too, as someone who, I always joke and say, I feel like God gave me like an extra dose of empathy.
Yeah.
I'm a very empathetic person, especially with everything that's happened in the last week. And I came sitting by you on the couch a couple of days ago and was just crying, like just seeing videos of different things or different things that people said. And I think empathy is a blessing, but it is also hard because sometimes I feel like I can't necessarily protect myself from it, because I remember sitting in sociology class in college and watching a Britney Spears documentary and sitting in the back, like when she shaved her head, being like, oh my God, poor Britney. Like, I can't imagine what she was going through then. Yeah. And now Britney is just a completely different story.
But most people, again, comes back to are not wired that way. And I do think there's an element of, I think empathy is, it can be something that's within you. But I do think it's like a learned thing.
Okay, that's exactly where I was about to go.
Go ahead.
Do you think that it is something that you are born with or that you develop over time?
Both. I think it's nature versus nurture. I think you have it in your nature, but I do think your family and your like existence nurtures that. How you guys go through life, love each other, take care of each other, communicate with one another. Like how your family operates obviously helps build that out, and even more so when it's built into you. My family, it's not built into me. And I think there is like, you want to care for your fellow man, but we weren't basically, I don't think I don't ever you remember using the word empathy as a kid. I don't remember hearing it from my parents or whatnot. It was help those that have less. You can always give back. We donate our time. We donate our money. We want to help society, like that thing. But that was always like a structural thing. It was always like and it was also a lot of times like, oh man, that person's circumstances are different than mine. How do I help them? Versus being like, oh, that's my friend. How do I I need to understand what they're going through and put myself in their shoes or whatever. Like you could use that phrase. My dad did all the time. Like you don't know anybody till you walk a mile in their shoes. But what does that actually mean? Mm-hmm. You know, give them grace. And let's discuss empathy and having that thought of how are they feeling? How can you help them? It was never discussed. That was one thing when Lyra was really little that her mom was really cognizant of, and we were reading some books about that, and that being one of the most important things you can teach a kid. And I'm like, wow, okay, that seems great. Because again, I was now recognizing that I don't know this at all. Mm-hmm. And Lyra is an empath to the 50th degree, mm-hmm. which is good, and sometimes almost too much. It's almost problematic sometimes.
That's why I said it's hard because you have to protect yourself sometimes when you have a whole lot of empathy for others.
Which is true. Which is another side of the coin, which is a different thing we need to think about. But yeah, I think that most people are not most people. I'm not, and there are many, many people like me, I imagine, that aren't wired that way. Because it's the first thing you look and say is, well, what's wrong with that person? Not like, oh, what happened? How can I help that person? Like, there is a judgment that people can snap to, questioning how they got there versus being like, okay, I'm interested in how they got there, but how do I meet them right now to help them? And then maybe if we peel back the layers, there can be some broader conversation.
Yeah. I agree with everything you said, but why, the whole reason I brought that up, is it nature versus nurture? Is it something that you're born with or that's learned? Is because of Dace this morning.
Oh, yeah.
So last night, Lyra saw Dace's baby books and was asking about them. And one has pictures from when my stomach was growing, and we were taking pictures every week. And then the other one is his baby book where I like wrote in different things, milestones during his first year, which still needs to be finished, just in case anybody at home is like, man, I didn't do that. Wow, you're making me look bad. No, I went retroactively, did it a couple months later after each time, and I need to go back and do more. Anyways, so we were looking through things, and that brought us to pictures, and she asked about, I think she was talking about the time that she met him, and so we were looking at that, and then she said, do you have a picture? I showed her when you first held Days. She goes, well, do you have a picture of when you first met him, Kels? I was like, oh, yeah, I have a lot, but they're pretty gruesome, and I don't want her to swipe through and see the, delivery and the actual baby, and we're not ready for all of that. So I knew that I had this video that I had cut on TikTok that had the moment that you tell me it's a boy, and the doctors are around us, and I'm crying, and then you're getting emotional, and then I couldn't remember what I put in the video after that. So we watched that video with Lyra last night, and she's so sweet. Of course, I'm emotional watching it and then telling her the stuff before, and then as we're watching it, she's like, I think I might cry. So she's so sweet. So anyway, she wanted to watch it again this morning. She, I guess, remembered it and goes, can Dace see that video? We watched the video with Dace. It starts with the moment he's born, and then it has the clips of all of our family members meeting him in the hospital, which shows a lot of them crying. My dad, who Dace loves, crying really hard. My mom just kind of giving a face where she's like a little bit emotional. Bree and Chan, I think, are both crying in it. And then it goes to like a minute just of pictures with this song playing. And it's an emotional song, I think, but I'm 37.
Yeah.
Am I 37?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm 37. So like, I know the weight that carries. So we finished watching the video, and I'm holding Dace, and Lyra's sitting right there, and you're sitting there. And I look at Dace, and it looks like his eyes are red, like he's about to cry. And I say to you, oh my gosh, he looks sad. He looks like he's about to cry. And you're like, yeah, he does. And then he just starts wailing.
Yeah.
Just bawling, crying. Cannot be consoled. Lyra's trying to hug him. I'm trying to hold him and tell him, it's okay, buddy. Like, why are you sad? And so then eventually we're like, okay, let's show him the video again. So I wanted to like make it happier. I'm like, look, oh, they're crying, but this is good, Days. This is good. Because I'm like, did the video make him sad? So then I turned it off, and he will not stop crying. Yeah. It was like the saddest, sweetest little thing. It was like his brain couldn't. And seeing our family members cry, that was early in the video. There's like a minute plus of pictures afterwards of him growing up and with different people. It's like, did he miss the people in there? Was he feeling like they were sad and he didn't understand? Is it because like the music and like it was so sad and sweet? And then I was like, is this my little empathetic little boy like trying to understand what he's feeling seeing this? Is it missing the people? Like, and that's why I say, like, are you born with it? Because I do. I feel like he saw it and was like, I don't know how to process what I'm feeling right now.
He definitely didn't know how to process what he's feeling. That
Which
was like a meltdown
bad.
of emotions. I was like, holy cow.
Even when I gave him a passy, he wouldn't stop crying. It was so sad.
Yeah. I do think it's also a testament. My brain works really strangely, but I was, as I could see him looking upset. And the song, what is the song? Do you know off the top of your head?
No, but I can find it.
Well, with the song playing, I think it's one of those things where I was like, I think the music coupled with the imagery creates a more emotional vibe.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up. It's going to start in a second while you're talking.
Well, okay. So I was thinking, I was like, I wonder if the music here is affecting him. If the music wasn't here, would he be okay? Like I'm thinking about like a study piece of it.
Yeah.
But
this one. Be a little low. I can't even hear the song because I associate it with Days being born.
We also went to the singing before. You didn't need to sing too. Everybody heard how good that sounded. They heard how she sounded. Anyway, Yeah, I think I was like, I wonder if, well, we know the words. He's not catching the words. I don't know.
Yeah.
But my brain was thinking about that before he actually burst out. I was like, he looks sad. I was thinking about that. Then he burst out crying. And my conclusion was more that I think that like he doesn't really understand him as that being the tiny baby that everybody's crying for. But then he started to see himself in pictures with all these people that he loves that he misses and he would like to talk to. Like we've seen him get emotional when he hears other people's voices and doesn't get to see them. So he's seeing your dad, he's seeing your mom, he's seeing his aunts, he's seeing. So I think he was just like, this was sad. This is not fun. This is not good. I want my lawnmower video. That's fun, but this isn't fun. And yeah, I was definitely surprised by his reaction. And then Lyra then she's confused because as he left to go get dressed, she's like, I don't understand why baby's being sad. Baby being born would ever be sad. I'm like, well, baby, I don't think he knows that. Like, for all of us, it's happy, but those are happy tears. Like, you remember, yeah, those are happy tears. Those for him were not happy tears. I don't know, but we can't explain what's going on in his head and his heart.
No, and I feel like that's why I was like trying to play it again and rewire it to tell, because you where you were standing could see his face. So you, like you said, you thought he looked sad. I didn't know until the very end when I looked down at him because he was just chilling watching it. Mm-hmm. And that's why I tried to play it again because I do feel like the association of being like, they're happy, and telling him that makes him feel better. But I mean, that was like a really sad, heavy start to the morning. And then like, Lyra was sad for him and that put her in a more introspective state as well. Just interesting because it did make me think like, is he going to be like a more empathetic little guy? Like he knows things, but he can't comprehend what's happening in that video and what the song means with it and why it's like sweet but heavy. But he just was like, I feel something and I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, but he's your son, so I imagine, he's probably going to be empathetic. He is also my son, but I think that, maybe your nature wins out in that. But as we just we also went through the nurture piece of it, I think I'm much more aware of these things and want him to be empathetic and be emotionally connected and all these different things. But it seems like that's how he's naturally wired.
Well, it's not a bad thing.
No.
He'll be tough still, but he'll be hopefully a sweet tough.
You know what's weird about that is like I've said this before. It was good that I had a girl first because I think that as a boy and as like a competitive like athlete, you think a boy is, but there's still this masculinity piece of it as far as like being able to be tough and you can cry and be emotional, but you have to have the other side too. I didn't have that thought before. So in 2018, I had a boy, it would have been more about how I was raised, about this toughness. But I still in me like. It's going to be hard. He's not even 2 years old, but at times I'm like, come on, man, you're fine. Where if it's Lyra, I'd be like, are you okay, baby? Like I can't, I have to figure that out. It's not, but it's somewhere in my mind, in my makeup that it's like, well, dude, you got to be a boy. You have to be tough. You have to like, but with her, it's like, nah, you'll be fine. How can I make you fine?
Yeah,
you're going to be fine.
No, he doesn't have to be. He doesn't have to be tough yet. He's still really, really little.
I'm aware. That's what I said. It's my problem, not his.
You do a pretty good job with it though. I feel like.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, you rough him up sometimes in like a fun way.
But they have done those studies and I have read that. It's our job. That's the job of like, you are the nurturer. He will go to you instinctively when he wants to need cuddled and like that's your safety. What we provide as like the male species is like protection. That's part of our deal. And people can say that's like this masculinity viewpoint. I'm not saying women don't have that. That's part of what's hardwired into all our brains. Like, and part of what protecting them is to show them like there can be physicality and play and fun, but we're here, so it's safe. Like we are doing this, and I'm dropping you from 2 feet onto the couch. You're laughing and you're having fun. I'm pounding with pillows. You're laughing, you're having fun. I'm hitting you, but we are safe. You are safe.
You're
it's
not hitting him.
Well, no, like I'm bopping him around, but like it's like he's laughing. But I think I did these things with Lyra. I can't remember. I probably wasn't allowed to, but I don't recall. But with him, it's just like, no, I'm going to do this. I'm like reading the stuff. That's part of what men do. It's part of what we provide to them. It's like this safe, secure place where that I've got you. And I'm here and it's going to be fine.
Yeah. And I think it's good. And it's just a different bond that they have with dads than moms. We had our last doctor's appointment, which Dace is 20 months. And this was his 18-month appointment that we went to at like 19 and a half months. So we're doing great. But Dr. Zach, who I love, said, he's talking about how at this age, sometimes they get separation anxiety, which Dace still seems to do really well. I don't know if we should be offended by the fact that he doesn't miss us more or what, but it's fine.
He didn't the other day when you had gone and then me and Lyra left. He had a meltdown. So it's
you probably didn't warn him enough. I like to warn him about things so he can get excited about it. You're gonna stay here with her. It's gonna be so fun, and we're leaving, but we'll see you later. So that he knows it's coming.
Yeah, okay. He's smarter than we think.
Starting to he's understanding a lot, which is crazy. Anyways, when Dr. Zach said, well, this is the first time that he's starting to realize that he's separate of you, which I know that's how babies view themselves, is they don't see themselves as separate of their mom. They think that they are the same. But it's like wild to think about. Just the evolution and just his brain and the way it develops. And then like, obviously for me, emotional to think like that he's figuring out that like he's his own little person, and to think that this whole time for a year and a half he like thought he's part of me. It makes me cry.
I'm aware. I'm watching it.
It's so sweet.
It's very sweet. He's the sweetest.
Don't make fun of me.
I'm not.
It's crazy though. It's crazy to like, I mean, having a baby is just crazy how you can just create a human life and they're here and now they're ours forever in the first place. The miracle of birth. But it's just wild to think how our brain evolves from when he was a baby and firstborn to now, and then like what it'll be like in the future.
Yeah. I mean, the whole process is bananas. And just as you go through it, like, and he's in this period too where he's still like the amount he's learning at the pace he's learning, the words he's using, and the communication of feelings or whatever is pretty rapid.
Testing boundaries. I've been getting a lot of no. Like, oh God, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
We didn't get into it as much last time because it was at the very end, but I had my second therapy session.
Yeah. How'd it go?
I think good. I am going to have to figure out, like, I don't have any problem talking about my feelings.
As we're aware, yeah.
Or my thoughts or my emotions or any of it. So I understand. It's probably like dating where you're like getting to know each other a little bit, but not really because it's one-sided. It's just you getting to know me and you're just sitting there as the therapist getting to know me. But so far, I mean, it's helpful because talking is always helpful. But so far, it just feels like a conversation that I would have with anyone. Because there's not like a whole lot of input back yet. It's like a couple of prompting questions. But I'm like, when does it turn? Because like for some people, just you probably have to like be pulling this out of them. But for me, the first time, this just feels like a normal Wednesday night with, whoever I'm on the phone with that I'm close enough to share these things with. So I don't know. What was it like for you? I understand sharing was different, but I'm like, at what point do I say, okay, maybe this isn't the right fit, or you haven't given it enough time, or what, to feel like I'm getting more out of it than just talking? Because that's not my issue. I'm fine talking. I
get that. So I do. We're coming from two baselines that are very different. So maybe there were more questions to me, or more like, wait, you got to dive into that, or we need to go into that a little bit more. You need to, let's go back, stay, whatever, a little more prompting on things. But yeah, I don't think there was like a lot of solutions offered, not necessarily solutions now still. It's things for you to think about based on everything you're giving to them. They're playing back something to you in a way in which maybe you can hear it, you didn't already know it, or maybe it opens your eyes to something, or it's just a different perspective of your own issues and how you can work through these. And sometimes you can name some of the stuff, whether it's anxiety or depression or whatever, like some of the more, simple diagnoses, if you will, and they have some processes to that. But other stuff's not. And it's just, I think there's a matter of you keep talking, and she's trying to learn, she's trying to listen and understand all the different things you're dealing with, and ultimately, honestly, trying to diagnose you as you're going through it. Like, what are the real underlying issues here? And then how do we work through some of those things? How do we process some of this stuff? So I think you're just like in the infancy stage. Like, I don't think she's going to have a lot of, well, here's what you should do. They would never, any therapist saying what you should do is this is probably not the ideal thing. It's like, here's something to think about.
Yeah, I just feel like I'm not looking for solutions. There just hasn't been a lot of thought-provoking things yet. Like, and I think I realized it because the last time as I was like getting up to leave, she goes, okay, well, I hope you found this helpful. And I was like, well, So far, not really. I mean, it's nice to talk, but I don't.
It's the
it
second.
wasn't really.
It's the second hour.
I
She's trying to
know,
understand all
I
your
know.
issues
That's
and
why I wanted to
challenges.
bring it up.
And I'm sure she's had other people that were like you that share very easily and openly, and probably gave the same story or the same discussion or had the same issues that they talked to about other people with.
There are not people out there with all the same issues plus this fear.
No.
Plus the fear of vomit.
Yeah, but you didn't.
She's like, you're a bit of an okay.
But
all this, and then there's also this that we're gonna.
We
work
get it,
through.
which is worth through. But you didn't hear what I said. Sorry. She's saying she's probably worked with people like you that are able to talk about these things with their mom or their friend or Christine or whoever else you want to throw out there. She knows that you've shared this same issues and same challenges and same stories and same versions of stories with other people. Okay, well, how do I take all that information in and kind of synthesize it into something that's useful for you and useful for me, like useful for me to get like process, me being her, like process into, okay, what are we dealing with? So she's probably it's like you're giving her an information dump and she can't start anything until she really gets the dump. So
I mean, I'm just going to keep dumping on her for now.
I was going to make a pun to the early morning of every day, starting each day. But anyway, go ahead.
With what?
Never mind. We don't need to go back to more poop talk. It's not necessary here.
We already did that last week.
We did it.
Okay, so I'm going to be open-minded for at least like 2 more sessions.
I don't understand what your rush is to find like a relationship, like you're in love at first sight. I don't think this works like that. I think you need to give it like time, like just 2 more sessions is 2 more hours of your life. And granted, I know our time is valuable, but this person just got a deluge of stuff about this new client that thinks she has all these issues or thinks she has all these are the problems. Maybe her determination is, well, I think the problem is really this. Let's talk about some of these things. There were 3 things you said out of the 6 hours we've talked that really illuminate some things that I think can help you. And it may not be what you're thinking. It may not be what you think are the big issues. You may be giving her a bunch of symptoms without actually, what's the crux of the problem here? Or all the stuff you're giving her is giving her the symptoms and she's trying to figure out what's the crux of the problem. So I would say patience is okay.
So you're telling me I need to be like Dory and just keep swimming, just keep talking.
Yeah, for sure. Just keep talking and have an open mind.
We watched Finding Nemo last night. I do have an open mind. I think my mind is so open that I'm like, okay, I'm ready to receive. My mind is open.
Well, no, that's what I mean by open mind is like, if you like, yeah, you're coming in with this thought of like, I am talking and then I want you to give me back some stuff. She doesn't, because this is a good therapist. There are bad therapists too. So if she comes back in and she thinks she has you done and she's throwing all the stuff back at you, when she only knows half the story or has not really fully understood it, she's not doing her job there either.
Yeah.
Like I think she really you have to take it in and really understand what you're providing back to that person with perspective and with purpose. Otherwise, you might give them some really shitty perspective and purpose. It's not good.
I agree. That's what I wanted to ask you. I just was curious how long you took to connect with good old Kathy, because she seems to get you.
We connected. I told you this before. We connected because she said, like, their first introductory meeting was just flat out after me talking for a while. She goes, you know what? I just think you need to grow up. And I was like, well, I think I found my lady. I'm used to tough love, and this lady gets it. If you just need to tell me exactly what you think the challenge is, and if that's the challenge, if that's our baseline, okay, what do grown-ups do? Let's figure this thing out. And then we build upon that. But that was, for me, it was more about her approach was not there to appease me, which is what I felt like I got in this other person I interviewed with. I felt like that lady wanted me to feel right and righteous or just heard and like versus being like, yeah, man, you've told me a lot of stuff. You're the problem here a lot, and let's work on that. Like, oh, okay. And that's kind of what I think I needed, or that's how my brain works.
Maybe that's what I want to hear, because she's nice. She's been very complimentary. She's like, you sound like you do this or that or da-da-da-da. I'm like, well, I'm not just sitting here trying to make myself sound good. Tell me something else. I don't know.
I'm sure she will. I'm sure she will tell you something else. I do think that part of the challenge with therapy, though, too, is, and I feel like I was doing this to my fault, at least is what my therapist thought in the beginning, is I would say what I thought. And then, because my initial why I went into therapy was going through a fractured marriage, trying to figure out my situation, wanting to get back into that marriage. So I was looking at how do I help this for reconciliation in this marriage. So I was coming at it, what I would say, what I thought and feel, but she thinks that, and then like defend any of action or thought or perspective that maybe had on the other side. And her problem was just like, all right, I think you're doing this too much. Like you're trying to find fault in everything you did, and you're trying to find grace or accuracy in everything somebody else did. It doesn't work like that. Like we need to focus on your stuff and what you're saying and why you feel this way and why you think this way. And then maybe you can feel some progress, and then maybe reconciliation can work. And but these are two different things. You can't work on yourself and work on what you want your relationship to be at the same time when that person is absent. It's just not. Yeah. It's not possible.
Yeah. The one thing that my lady did say the first time after the first meeting, she was like, I think that you should, like, until I see you again, try and do something for yourself. Like, try, and you sound like you have a lot of stuff that you've been juggling and dealing with, and, you know, great support system, but like find something for yourself, which was part of why I was like, yeah, let's definitely join this gym. This will be good. This is something that I know that I have wanted and needed that
you made me join too, but go ahead.
Keep going. You want and need to. And so that has been good, and that has felt good, which leads me to the fact that we did a workout class together today.
We did.
What did you think? Was it awesome?
I mean, I thought she did a good job. I thought it was a good workout.
No, I mean like working out with me together in the same class.
It didn't impact me in any way. Sorry.
Did you see how athletic I was and how good I was at the exercises and how fast I was and strong I was?
I honestly didn't even look at you. I don't know what you did. I'm sorry. I looked maybe in the mirror. I think the times I looked at you when we were shuffling left and right, I'm like, am I going to hit her? That was pretty much the only time I looked at her.
Yeah, because I was lapping you. I obviously was like, I have
you
to
weren't
go
lapping me. I went in the wrong
direction.
direction twice. So when you went right, I went left. So we were coming towards each other. And then when I went what I thought was the right way, the woman to my right was going the other way. So I almost ran into her, which is much worse. So yeah, that was eventful. I enjoyed it. Would we do more workout classes together? For sure. It seemed like you really were into it. Does it affect you working out next to me at all?
No, I would just like to be around you, Dal. I mean, what do you want me to say? I'm like obsessed with you, and I guess you're not obsessed with me. It's weird.
I am obsessed with you, but I like to work out usually on my mountain. I've only done. Is that the second like real workout class I've ever done? I think. Like I don't work out like I felt weird at times. I'm one of a couple men in there, and it's like an athletic conditioning thing. So that lady, we're doing 8 exercises, 3 rounds each. Like we're 60 minutes, 60 seconds each. Like we're cranking through some stuff, and some of it's obviously hard. Like I'm used to, like I'm not yelling, but there's definitely like we're breathing like we're supposed to breathe on the exertion. Like I'm trying to get stuff done, and in that environment, I'm like, am I not allowed to get this done? Like what's going on here?
That was good that you brought that up, because I actually was thinking about it going into the class. So like, what if this is like that yoga mindfulness experience where you're just like loudly breathing in the class?
Felt great.
And if it's going to be noticeable. Now, in an environment like that, it's loud.
Well, that sucks because I'm going into. I'm like, I think I'm going to get something out of this, but can I actually push myself to failure? No. I don't. That sucks.
Why?
Like,
because you're too worried that I'm going to laugh at you breathing
I don't care about you laughing at me breathing loud. It's like disrupting everybody in class. Like to push myself to failure requires I'm going to do some grunting. There's going to be some exhale. Like there's going to be noises made for my body to fail. I don't fail until like I've given every ounce of in me. And now, granted, I think the only exercise close was that was like the burpees into a jump squat split, whatever the hell that thing was. Other than that, like everything else, I was able to get through with to being tired, but not my body failing, which is usually when I'm doing a workout or lift, there is failure hit multiple times in the workout.
I do think you making your little workout noises is different in an environment like that versus that very quiet meditative room where there was no music, no sound, and you were the only one in your own little cocoon. Literally.
You've told this story on the pod before. You think it's that funny? You want to revisit it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not totally revisiting it. I'm just saying, like, the noises you were making in a meditative room are different than you grunting in class. But I
was sleeping. That was the problem. I was
No. This was like, just you breathing.
No. And then I fell asleep, which she told us not to do, but I racked out.
That was the only time that you weren't being disruptive to the whole class.
Oh, I thought I was doing some good breathing.
You were.
I was relaxed.
So I did go into today wondering if that was going to be something that we dealt with, but we didn't. The only other thing that I noticed, other than just enjoying being in there and working out together, if I was looking around the class and I was seeing how sweaty you are, I would be like, that is a sweaty man.
Mm-hmm.
But the man in front of you was really sweaty too.
So what's your point?
I would have been judging you in a past life.
Oh, well then what the hell are you guys in there for? I'm here to work out. Like, what do you do? Like, this is what I don't understand. This is my problem with this gym too. We'll just do it. Let's just have it out right now. We used to go to that dank Y. I would be in there and there was nobody sub 60. And I would do whatever workouts I wanted. 1 foot this balance this, inverted pull up this. Nobody batted an eye. I worked out there. I've lifted there twice now. Both times I've lifted, I felt like I was a freaking zoo animal. Like I just can feel people staring at you, looking at you. It's super uncomfortable. So why, if we're upgrading in gym,
you're hot?
I don't care, and I don't know if that's the case. It's like I'm here to get stuff done. You guys are talking. You are talking. You're standing under the pull-up bar. Get the hell out of the way. We're not here for social hour. We're here to work out.
We're here for
and
both.
if you want, no, we're not. See, this is the problem. If you want to socialize, get off the gym floor. There's a stairwell over there. There's stuff over there. Get out of the way. There's seats. There's cubbies. Go over there. Do not be socializing and then looking at me like I'm the asshole here. I think it's a weird vibe in there to lift in. I'd rather go back to being in the dank, dark.
What? Don't say such a thing.
Because you just proved my point. If you're in a workout class where we're going consecutive things with minimal work, minimal rest, why are you looking around assessing other people? Are we not here to get stuff done?
I just saw your sweat everywhere, but I know that. I just know in a past life I would have been like, oh, that hot guy would sweat all over me in the bedroom, which is not.
That's happened.
Is,
and there you go.
Normally,
there you go. Something's a positive thing. I know this isn't hot. Oh, you should see anything. She's hot yoga. Like I am an absolute disaster.
Well, yeah, that's different. I feel like that's different. Everybody is. And I sweat.
Not the same way I am in there. It is animal-like. But men sweat more than women too.
What's a yoga class like for you? Do you not feel like a caged animal when you're like the one man in your little tights and all the women?
I think I just did this with Roddy on the podcast the other day. On Sirius XM. We literally just had this conversation. Which I think he said, like if Kelsey hears this, how's her family? What's she gonna think? I go, well, she doesn't listen to the show, so I think we're good. But I know some people that are your family, like family and friends, listen to Sirius XM quite a bit. So Roddy said in the break, his goal with working out, he was asking about workouts. He's like, I just want to be sexy. He said it's so sad. So then we came back on air. I'm like, what did you just tell me about working out? And okay. I just want to be sexy. So we unpacked that for a little bit. But ultimately, we got into the yoga piece. So I mentioned, I'm like, I don't think Kels loves that I go to yoga because I'm one of like 2 men in there usually. And I'm definitely one of 2 men sub 50. Like there's a couple old guys that go there all the time. But this is an environment where it's all women. I don't feel like anybody's looking at anybody. I feel like everybody is like, you are in your zone space, in your mat, in your
wrong.
practice.
If there's single women in there, they're definitely looking because I've been that single woman.
But I don't.
But that's not just a yoga class. Like I said, if I was.
Well, no, that's my point. I think the whole point of yoga, as we're talking, is a different experience. Like you are, as you start class, looking inward, trying to focus on yourself and what you want your practice to be and what you want to get out of this hour. And it is very much introspective and individual and personal. And I don't think, although you have people all around you, like if you're doing it well or properly, I think you're locked into what you're doing. And it's really freaking hard. So like to focus on maintaining this balance and do this thing and hold your body this way and breathe in this regard. Like there's enough there that I don't think people are looking around and be like, just checking people out. Whereas when you're at that gym and you're not really working out or you're kind of doing an elliptical, but you can see all the weight stuff, you're just looking at people. That's all you're doing, looking at people.
Did you tell Roddy the story while you were making the case that no one really pays attention to people in yoga class and you don't know who's there, who's not? About the one time that we went to the beach and you had been to like maybe 3 yoga classes and the girl with the biggest boobs we've ever seen in our life walked up and was like, were you in my yoga class this morning? And I was just like, oh, yes. Yes. I mean, not your type, but.
And what did I say? I don't know. I'd have no idea that she was in the class. That was my point.
Had those boobies covered up because I would have noticed them.
This is my point. I'm here to work. You're here to look at people. That's why you love this gym. That's why I'm questioning the decision.
That's why I love going together because I can look at you.
And I can work on my game and try to work out and maybe not look at you because I'm focused on my thing.
Whatever. You definitely noticed how good I was doing. I was doing that snatch so hard.
It's very.
I was snatching a 20-pound. I started with a 10. I was like, wait, this is easy.
Yeah, I thought I had the wrong way with that one. I should have changed it, but I didn't.
I thought it was gonna be a lot harder than it was, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot how strong I am.
You're so strong.
I'm not strong. Okay, can't wait to do more workout classes together, baby.
I can't wait to be looked at like a zoo animal more. It's great.
Well, the alternative is I don't pay attention to you and don't think you're hot and don't look at you.
You make it about hot. I don't think it's hot. I think it's I'm doing stuff. I'm like, I'm moving through a workout. You guys are all hanging out. Like, and
what?
once
Nobody's hanging out?
They are, babe. It's one of those places where you do a set and people walk around for 2 minutes,
In
look
our
at their
class
phone.
today?
No. In the gym.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. In the class, when you said you're looking around assessing people, that almost shocks me. We are moving for 60 seconds, 10 seconds, 60 seconds. Like, we are going.
I'm a multitasker.
But that's what I'm saying. How are you doing that and really focus on your stuff?
I was judging the one girl because every time we were doing ab stuff, she was just doing arm stuff. I'm like, well, shouldn't you have something that you injury, but you should.
I don't even know who you're talking about.
That's
this is the thing is,
crazy.
I have no idea.
That's crazy.
The only thing I know is the guy in front of me was the guy I saw yesterday, and I noted what he was doing as I was walking out of the
He
gym.
gave me the hardest high five ever.
Because
wanted me to take
you know what
the
he
guy
was
in
doing
the gym.
yesterday? He was doing an insanity workout on that thing, and I noticed it when I was warming up, just because I was like, "Oh, that's that guy. He's getting after it. He's an older guy working on his game." Now, what he almost didn't do that I liked when he did the overhead sit-ups, he almost smashed my toe with a 35.
Shoot.
That I was like, dude, you got to have some awareness. If you're going back over your arms, like, I'm not short. You got to like adjust your area. He was not adjusting any area.
That's funny.
That's literally the only thing I noticed in the entire class. Was that dude who was right in front of me.
Wow,
that's
I could
it.
give you a lay of the land of pretty much
Which is
everyone
this is part of the problem. Again, like, you go through like saying, and that thing I don't understand how you did that. But on the floor of the gym, when you can do all the free weights and stuff, there are a lot of people. Especially a lot of the ones that are getting personal training. They're standing in between each set. It's like 2 to 3 minutes of chatting, and then they meet somebody else. They looked at me like I was crazy when they were sitting on the pull-up bar. I'm like, there's only one pull-up bar here, folks. Get out of the way. It's not okay.
I don't disagree with what you're saying there. Like, when you're in the gym environment and someone needs that, move along. Don't just sit there and talk. Okay, so I'm glad you love our new gym. That's great.
I'll learn to love it, maybe. I'm going to feel awkward every time I lift there, but that's fine. That's okay.
Whatever. Do you have good before we go?
I never even did my TFEs. You didn't notice that, but that's okay.
I don't know that I did efficiently either, but go ahead.
You launched off the pod. Here's what I will. This is the only thing I'll say about my TFEs.
Why? Just give them to me now. You clearly have them.
Well, no, because I think
Thoughts?
we have.
You're sad that I missed your
7
TFEs?
minutes. No, not at all. I just like the only thing I was thinking as you were going through this now, because we're not the end of the show, is just that this is what I think a partnership is supposed to be. Like, we don't have all the answers. We got problems like everybody else, but it is that element of last week I'm struggling, you're trying to figure it out and help me and lift me up. This week you're struggling, I'm trying to help you and figure it out. And I would love if our partnership at times we could get aligned more where we are both feeling good at the same time, but that's probably not life. But the good part about it is we have somebody with you to help you through that and to get aligned versus just always walking around everything's great, because that's not real either. But so that was what I was thinking. It's just that this is kind of what marriage and partnership is supposed to be, is trying to help support that other person to bring them up when they're down, or vice versa. My feelings and emotions on that are not necessarily on that. I guess the feelings comes back to like gratitude that like you sat here last week and did the same thing for me that I hope we did for you, because anybody that listens to our pod heard my voice and how it started and then heard my voice and how it ended. So clearly I was helped by talking to you and to whoever's listening to this for an hour and change, and it impacted my day in a positive way. So I'm grateful that we have that partnership, that relationship, and TFEs.
Me too, babe. It definitely helped me. I'm definitely feel lighter and more happy. And I was at a 10 and you were at a 90. I feel like that's what the analogy comes to for me, is like, we're trying to get to 100 and maybe I only have 10 to give, you have 90. So cool. We meet. Maybe both one day we both only have 25. So the best we can do is 50. But still, if I only have 25, and I saw this recently, if I only have 25 and I'm giving 100% of my 25, I'm still giving 100% that day. Why are you laughing?
Well, no, I get it. I think part of when we're both low though too, I think it's like trying to both pull each other up together, like be like, all right, I'm going to give everything. And maybe I can't get you out of there, but all right, maybe it spurs me to be like, all right, come on, man, you have to pick it up, or vice versa, and find a way to help the other.
Next week, it's going to be great. We're going to both come in here at least 35%.
No shot. I'm predicting that.
Solid 35.
I will be creeped out of the gym though. That'll happen more. That I know. That I can know for sure.
Okay. Brush your hair off your shoulders.
You think I like this? I don't like it, and it's not about looks. It's about oh, he's working or out. Let's stare at him.
Whatever.
Zoo animal.
See you next week.
Deuces.